On January 4th, Brian Walsh made a call about his missing wife.
Anna hasn't been in touch for a few days. Do you know anyone that might have had contact with her?
A wife he deeply loved and a mom of his 3 little boys. Only 4 days before, she celebrated New Year's Eve at her Boston home. She tucked her sons into bed and kissed her husband at midnight. After that night, nobody ever saw her again. And this puzzling fact brings us to the beginning of our story. A story of the Google murderer who only got caught because of the phrases he Googled. How long before a body starts to smell? How to stop a body from decomposing? 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to. Can you throw away body parts? How long does DNA last? How to clean blood from wooden floor? Is it better to put crime scene clothes away or wash them?
At 4:55 a.m. on January 1st, he searched how long before a body starts to smell.
Who was the killer who wrote the entire murder scenario in a Google search? And how did he get caught? For that, this was his victim, Anna Walsh, a young woman from Boston, a successful real estate agent and a caring mom of 3 little boys. When she was murdered, the investigation about this case brought many questions. Objects found during the search made the police confused. But one item will unlock the mystery in our story today. The key gruesome evidence of what happened was hiding behind the screen of an iPad. What comes next, Night Fam, is incredibly disturbing and sad. And using this time before we dive into the story, I want to request of the 69% of you who are watching Project Nightfall without following to please follow our page right now if you enjoy our videos. We're trying to hit 20 million followers by the end of this year. January 1st, Brian tells investigators his wife left home around 4 a.m. to go to the airport and that this was the last time he saw her. He also said he spent an afternoon at his mom's house in the area with no signal. But after several more suspicious claims, police started tracking his phone and found out he visited a lake nearby. On January 2nd, Brian took his 6-year-old son to buy a smoothie while the nanny was looking after the other 2 boys. He mentioned it to the police, but what he never mentioned was the 210 minutes he spent that afternoon elsewhere. And that's where the case started slowly revealing itself to the police. Video evidence exposed their husband at the Home Depot in Rockland, wearing a black surgical mask and blue surgical gloves. Brian Walsh spent more than $400 on mops, brushes, a special suit against chemical hazards, buckets, baking soda, and a hatchet. For investigators, these purchases were a clear indicator that he was hiding something. Because he couldn't have killed his own wife, right?
Anna hasn't been in touch for a few days. Do you know anyone that might have had contact with her? Calling everyone.
So they started their investigation of the husband. What they found put together the pieces of the brutal crime nobody was ready for. Because the Google murderer behind all the internet searches, unfortunately, was Anna's own husband. And it's truly unbelievable what will happen in the next few days. On January 3rd, CCTV captured Walsh close to the dumpster in a town about 15 miles away from his home. And the family iPad showed his search. What happens to hair on a dead body? What is the rate of decomposition of a body found in a plastic bag compared to on a surface in the woods? Can baking soda mask or make the body smell good? The list of this cruel, vicious, stupid man was endless. What made this evil man end the life of his wife, leaving his 3 sons without a mother forever? It turns out Brian had hired a private investigator to follow Anna and discovered that she had been cheating on him for months. This was never proved though. It also turns out that if anything happens to his loving wife, Brian would inherit an insurance amount of staggering $2.7 million.
On December 27th, defendant Googled What's the best state to divorce for a man?
And so, in the next 5 days, one of the biggest public searches ever will happen in Boston. Teams of hundreds of people searched areas where he was caught on security cameras, his house, his basement, and the entire neighborhood. They found 10 trash bags full of gross evidence, rugs splattered with blood, towels, tape, slippers, cleaning agents, carpets, a hacksaw, a hatchet, even a Prada purse, and Anna's torn necklace, all covered with Anna's and Brian's DNA. On January 8th, Brian Walsh was arrested at his home in Boston and charged with misleading investigators. As I speak, he is the only suspect charged with first-degree homicide of his wife, Anna Walsh.
Defendant be held without bail for the murder of his wife.
But truthfully, nothing will ever bring justice to this poor woman and the boys. She is gone. 3 little boys left with no mother, while Anna's mother will probably never get the chance to bury her daughter with dignity. The horrible man who murdered his wife must be forever remembered as a Google murderer. Let's all hope that justice for this horrific crime will be served, and that Brian Walsh will be punished and sent to spend the rest of his life behind bars and then be put to the ultimate justice once he dies.